Money's gotta be the shoes. Shoes. You sure it's not the shoes?
Imagine you had the chance in 1984 to sign rookie Michael Jordan. Yes, the same Michael Jordan who went on to become a sports, cultural, and marketing icon, and you blew it. This is the story of how upstart Nike was able to create one of the greatest marketing successes of all time, and left Adidas wondering what could have been if they only had some vision and courage. In the world of sports, few rivalries are as fierce and iconic as the battle between Nike and Adidas. These two brands have been competing for dominance in the athletic industry for decades, constantly pushing the limits of innovation and marketing strategies to win over consumers. To say Nike's bet on Michael Jordan paid off big time is a gross understatement. The Air Jordan sneaker line became an instant sensation, and Jordan's status as a cultural icon helped cement Nike's position as a leading athletic brand. Adidas tried to counter Nike's success by signing its own endorsement deals with basketball players and introducing new sneaker lines, but nothing could match the popularity of the Air Jordan brand. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into the fascinating and intriguing story of how Nike dunked Adidas by signing Michael Jordan. We'll explore the well-researched details of the deal, the impact of the Nike-Jordan partnership on the sneaker industry, and the ongoing rivalry between Nike and Adidas. So sit back, relax, and get ready to discover the untold tale of the most significant moments in sports history. Chapter 1: The Underdogs Sometimes Win. Before we dive into this epic battle between Nike and Adidas, let's talk about the birth of Nike. It's a story that's often romanticized, but the truth is, it was a rough start for this athletic brand. It was 1964 when Phil Knight and Bill Bowerman founded Blue Ribbon Sports in Beaverton, Oregon. They started with a modest investment of just $1,200, and their mission was simple: to bring high-quality athletic shoes to the US market. The company's big break came in 1965, when it secured the distribution rights to sell the Japanese brand Onitsuka Tiger shoes in the US. Under the Blue Ribbon Sports name, the shoes quickly gained popularity among American runners. But in 1971, tensions between Blue Ribbon Sports and Onitsuka Tiger began to rise. The Japanese company started selling directly to US customers, cutting out Blue Ribbon Sports as the middleman. This move prompted Phil Knight to make a bold decision: to break away from Onitsuka Tiger and start his own shoe company. And that's how Nike was born. In 1972, the company officially changed its name to Nike, named after the Greek goddess of victory. Their first attempt was a disaster. The shoe fell apart after just a few miles, and Nike was left with a pile of unsellable shoes. But they didn't give up. Nike went back to the drawing board and eventually came up with a shoe that not only looked good, but also performed well. They called it the Nike Cortez, and it quickly became a hit among runners. However, its success was short-lived. Adidas and Puma soon caught wind of Nike's success and began to up their game. And so began the fierce rivalry between Nike and Adidas. Fast forward to the early 80s, and Nike was still struggling to keep up with Adidas. But then came the birth of Air Jordan, and everything changed. To keep everything in context, in 1978, Adi Dassler, the founder of Adidas, died. He left the business to his wife, who was in poor health, and his children, who clearly were not the great business minds their father was. The company was in turmoil, so they were really not in a position to make a serious run at Michael. Converse had Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Dr. J signed to endorsement deals, so this made them the giants in the basketball shoe business. Converse should have had the inside track in signing Jordan, but just like Adidas, they lacked the innovative through process to recognize the vast potential in Michael Jordan. Chapter 2: A phenomenon emerges. At the same time, a young basketball player named Michael Jordan was just beginning to make a name for himself in the sport. After a standout college career at the University of North Carolina, Jordan was selected as the third overall pick in the 1984 NBA draft by the Chicago Bulls. He first gained national attention during his college basketball career at the University of North Carolina, where he helped lead the Tar Heels to an NCAA championship in 19 1982. He then entered the NBA draft and was selected 3rd overall by the Chicago Bulls in 1984. From the moment he stepped onto the court, it was clear that Jordan was a special talent. He was a dominant scorer, a fierce competitor, and had a charismatic personality that drew fans in. But it wasn't just his skills on the court that made Jordan so unique. He also had a sense of style that was all his own. From his signature tongue wag to his iconic shaved head, Jordan was a cultural phenomenon and Nike saw an opportunity. Chapter 3. Go Big or Go Home. In 1984, while Jordan was still a rookie, Nike saw an opportunity to disrupt the market and take down its biggest competitor. The deal Nike signed Jordan to was groundbreaking. We have to consider what sports endorsement deals looked like in 1984. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Dr. J, the biggest stars at the time, were signed to rival Converse for $100,000 per year. Nike's director of marketing, Rob Strasser, saw the tremendous potential Michael had and worked out a deal with Michael's agent David Falk that would change sports marketing history. Nike offered Jordan his own signature shoe line, $500,000 per year, stock options, and a percentage of future sales. They were essentially making a tremendous gamble on this rookie, who had not even played one game in the NBA yet. In a tragic twist of irony for Adidas, Michael had his heart set on signing with Adidas. He always loved the brand and saw himself as Adidas' spokesperson coming out of college. In fact, he did not even want to take the meeting with Nike, so his agents had to recruit Michael's parents to force him to attend the meeting with Nike. Even after Nike's spectacular offer, Jordan still wanted to give Adidas a shot to sign him and gave the company the opportunity to match the offer. In a historically short-sighted move, Adidas could not see the value in signing an untested rookie to such a huge deal. Moreover, they believed that at 6'6", Michael was too small to ever be the greatest in the NBA. And so the Air Jordan sneaker line was born, and it quickly became a sensation. The shoes were designed to match Jordan's unique style and performance needs, and they were unlike anything else on the market. But Nike's bet on Jordan wasn't just about the shoes. They knew that Jordan had the potential to become a cultural icon. And they were right. He became one of the most recognized and beloved athletes in the world, with a career that spanned over a decade and included 6 NBA championships. But this doesn't ignore the fact that these shoes themselves were stylish, comfortable, and innovative, featuring Nike's signature air cushioning technology. Jordan wore the shoes during his record-breaking season in 1985 to 1986, where he averaged 37.1 points per game and won the NBA scoring title. Chapter 4. I love it when a plan comes together. What makes the Air Jordan brand work so well? It was a unique set of circumstances that all came together at the right time. One of the keys to Nike's success with the Air Jordan line was its ability to tap into the emerging hip-hop culture of the 1980s and 1990s. Jordan's style and image were perfect for this demographic, and Nike was able to create a brand that was both cool and inspirational. The line became a symbol of success for a generation of young people who saw Jordan as a role model and a cultural icon. The advertising campaigns created with young film director Spike Lee, who tapped into hip-hop culture, are legendary to this day and a testament to creativity and innovation. From day one, Air Jordans created controversy on the basketball court. The original shoe did not have enough color whites for the NBA, so Commissioner David Stern announced he would fine Jordan $5,000 every game he wore the shoe.
Okay, so, but what's wrong with the coloring? What rule do we violate here?
Well, it doesn't have any white in it.
Uh-huh.
This created a media sensation, and Nike saw the opportunity to market the shoe as the cool item the old grumpy establishment does not want kids to enjoy. This was a stroke of marketing genius as sales skyrocketed. Nike set the price of Air Jordans at $65, which in 1984 was an unheard of amount of money. This price made the cool factor for the shoe explode, because if you were wearing Jordans, it meant that you owned something aspirational, something something the other kids could not afford. But Nike didn't stop with the Air Jordan line. They also created a full line of Jordan brand apparel, including hats, shirts, and jackets. And they were able to use Jordan's image and persona to create a successful line that extended beyond just the world of basketball. If you were cool, you were wearing Jordans. The line was so successful that it even inspired other shoe companies to follow suit. The idea of creating an endorsement deal with a star athlete and creating a signature sneaker line became a standard practice in the industry, and it's still a common way for shoe companies to differentiate themselves and connect with consumers. Overall, Jordan's impact on sports marketing cannot be overstated. He paved the way for other athletes to become brands in their own right, and he showed that the right endorsement deal could be just as important as a player's performance on the court. Chapter 5. There's a new sheriff in town. In 1984, the year before Jordan signed with Nike, Adidas was the dominant player in the athletic shoe industry, with annual revenues of around $1.5 billion. Nike, on the other hand, was a relatively small player, with revenues of just $919 million. But the signing of Michael Jordan changed everything. In the first year of the Air Jordan line, Nike's revenues jumped by more than $100 million, reaching $1 billion for the first time in the company's history. By 1987, Nike's revenues had surpassed those of Adidas, and they continued to grow at a rapid pace. Adidas, on the other hand, struggled to keep up with Nike's success. Despite launching its own line of basketball shoes and signing its own high-profile athletes, Adidas was unable to match the popularity of the Air Jordan line. By the mid-1990s, Nike's revenues had surpassed $4 billion, while Adidas's revenues were stuck at around $3 billion. In 2022, Nike's revenues were $46.7 billion, with Adidas playing in the background at $23.6 billion. Chapter 6. Second Fiddle. In the years following the success of the Air Jordan line, Adidas attempted to compete by introducing its own signature basketball shoe lines. In 1986, Adidas signed basketball legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to a deal to create a signature shoe, the Adidas Jabbar, but it failed to gain the same level of popularity as the Air Jordan line. The Nike rival continued to release signature shoes for other NBA stars, including Patrick Ewing and Kobe Bryant, but none of these lines were able to match the success of the Air Jordan line. In the early 2000s, the company made another attempt to compete by signing rising NBA star Tracy McGrady to a lucrative deal, but his signature line was also unable to gain the same level of popularity as the Air Jordan line. While Adidas was not able to directly compete with the Air Jordan line, the company continued to innovate and introduce new products in other areas of athletic footwear. In the late 1990s, Adidas introduced the feet-you-wear technology, which aimed to mimic the natural movements of the foot and provide better stability and balance for athletes. The technology was used in a variety of shoes across different sports, including basketball. While it has continued to innovate in other areas of athletic footwear, such as introducing the feet-you-wear technology, it's clear that the company has struggled to keep up with Nike's dominance in the basketball shoe market. Nike's ability to leverage the success and larger-than-life persona of Michael Jordan has been unmatched and has allowed the company to create a brand that is about more than just athletic shoes. All of Adidas's attempts to compete with Nike have fallen short, leaving the company with little choice but to focus on other areas of athletic shoe market like soccer. Despite its efforts to build its brand through collaborations with high-profile celebrities and designers, Adidas has never been able to capture the same level of cultural significance as the Air Jordan line. They just seem to be stuck in the past while Nike continues to innovate. Bitter pill to swallow. Imagine being the Adidas executive and creating one of the biggest marketing blunders in history by not signing Michael Jordan. Adidas had the inside track to catapult their brand the same way Nike did, but lack of vision doomed them. As we bring this story to a close, it's clear that Nike-Jordan partnership forever changed the athletic shoe industry and beyond. Michael Jordan's unparalleled success on the court and larger-than-life personality, combined with Nike's marketing expertise and innovative product design, created a brand that transcended mere footwear. The Air Jordan line became a symbol of achievement, style, and aspiration, and helped to shape the way that people viewed basketball and fashion. Adidas, on the other hand, continues to play second best to Nike, and nothing we see from Adidas is going to change that dynamic in the near future. As we look toward the future of athletic footwear, one thing is certain: the impact of the Nike-Jordan partnership will continue to be felt for years to come. The Air Jordan line has left an indelible mark on the cultural landscape, sports marketing, and has cemented its place in the pantheon of iconic brands.